if you have people in your household, for example, who are preparing food for you, then please ask them to either cook the food on low medium heat rather than on high heat. The deep frying, the constant, putting excessive oils to it, like you get in some of the takeaways. Most of the restaurants, they're filled with the nasty oils to keep the food looking like fresh and tasty. Well, it's not really, because it's full of fats and it's depleted of nutrients. Avoid those sort of foods. Go more for the fresh fruits and vegetables. And if you are going for any meats, for example, this is one of the causes of cancer as well. Lifestyle changes that can improve skin health holistically. This is the topic I'll be covering on this video. Remember to give me a thumbs up, like, and share this video with your friends as well, because I do know that everyone would love to have natural glowing skin, and there are lifestyle changes that you can make should you want to get to this stage of having natural glowing skin. Yes, it takes a bit of effort, it takes a bit of discipline. However, if you are consistent and if you are determined to get natural glowing skin, then you will have to be determined and be disciplined to have or make these natural lifestyle changes. What are they? If you're smoking, then I would urge and recommend you reduce the amount of cigarettes, cigars, or even the vaping that you're doing, and eventually quit, or find ways to quit permanently. And there are so many options. You are actually burning money each time you smoke. I am just amazed at the price of cigarettes in the UK. If I'm right, it's like £15 for a pack of, I think, 20 cigarettes maybe. Smokers, if you are there, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I hardly go shopping, especially not shopping for cigarettes. But I've been made aware that it costs at least £15 for a packet of cigarettes. That is like £1 each time you pick up a cigarette to smoke, and I'm sure cigars are even more expensive. Vaping seems like the healthier choice. However, it isn't, because you're also consuming chemicals that creates even more smoke. From what I can observe, more smoke than the cigarettes. So smoking is something that you should give up if you want to make those lifestyle changes. And obviously the next one will be drinking. Excessive drinking of alcohol. Yes, a glass of red wine. I personally don't drink. However, a glass of red wine once or a couple of times a week would be beneficial for your health. However, if you're drinking like the entire bottle, like some of the people I know, they drink a bottle a night or two, then that is excessive. That is over dependence on these things. So these are the changes. And again, wine, if you're going for the expensive ones, they are not really the most affordable, in a sense. You're talking about, a few pounds at least a bottle, close to maybe £8-10 a bottle. For a liter, you could be getting like 8 liters of, at least 6 to 8 liters of coconut water or natural fruit juices from that. Go for that instead. Or you've heard us mention whole goat's milk. It costs about £2 a liter. So you could get like 4 to 5 cartons of 1 liter whole goat's milk, which is more wholesome, more nutritious than the cigarettes and the alcohol that you may be drinking consistently. What else? Eat as clean as possible. So go for more the fresh fruits and the vegetables, the foods that have not been cooked or overcooked. We have this saying, you cook the food to perfection and you keep cooking it till it's, depleted of nutrients. This is not the sort of food that you want to be consuming regularly. So if you have people in your household, for example, who are preparing food for you, then please ask them to either cook the food on low medium heat rather than on high heat, the deep frying, the constant, putting excessive oils to it, like you get in some of the takeaways. Most of the restaurants, they're filled with the nasty oils to keep the food looking like fresh and tasty. Well, it's not really, because it's full of fats and it's depleted of nutrients. Avoid those sort of foods. Go more for the fresh fruits and vegetables. And if you are going for any meats, for example, this is one of the causes of cancer as well. I personally love barbecues, but however, I avoid them as much as I can, because most of the time when you do barbecues, the meats or even the vegetables tend to be burnt. Can you see it when you go to like a Turkish shop, for example, or even in having like an English breakfast, for example, they cook the tomatoes, but the tomatoes are like burnt. They've got black bits in it, and these are what we call the carcinogenic bits, the bits that would cause or result in you having cancer. So when you eat those foods, those barbecue type foods, the grilled meats, for example, be mindful of the extremely burnt to black or dark brown bits. These are the bits you need to cut out and avoid as well. Do not eat those bits. Deep fried foods, yes, it's tasty, it's nice as a treat. However, do try to avoid them or abstain from eating so much of them as well. Do you go out and get some fresh air from some exercises? I am personally sometimes guilty of not having done this regularly, because sometimes you're occupied with work and the time just goes by so fast. It's so important to actually go out, even in the garden. If you've got maybe a small balcony, you may not have access to your own private garden. However, go to the parks for walks. There are lovely parks, especially if you live in Europe, for example, and even in Asian countries. Everywhere there are parks around. So go out and get that fresh air, that change of environment. Manage your mental state of health as well. We all go through lots of stresses in life. There are, deadlines when it comes to working, for example, bills to pay, stresses from family and friends, demands from everyone, for example. Manage the state that you're in as well. It's easier said than done. However, if you're mindful of the stresses, the things that are going to cause you stress, the things that are going to cause you to worry unnecessarily, learn to take life and each moment as they come, rather than trying to worry about what's going to happen in a year's time, in 5 years' time, for example. Yes, it's important to be concerned about the future. However, it's also important to be mindful not to be over concerned that you're constantly worrying and stressing yourself out about things. We all, because we're human, we all tend to over worry and over stress about things that most of the time would be very unlikely to happen. Give you an example. Some people, they don't want to travel, they don't want to leave the house because maybe they've been involved in, say, a personal or nasty incident outside the house before. It doesn't mean that you stay in the house and seclude yourself, just isolate yourself in the house. No, because there could be accidents happening in the house as well. So yes, and perhaps the nasty memories or the recurrence of something bad that has happened when you left the house, chances are it will not occur again. So you just need to take tiny steps perhaps to overcome those fears, those insecurities that you may have faced from previous experiences. So I hope you found this video useful. And by the way, we've got a free gift for you. This is a book we've written, or a booklet that we've written a while ago on someone that we personally helped. You can see that's the before and the after photo of a lady who had been suffering from psoriasis for over 40 years. She found us many years ago, and she came to see us for a couple of hours. She took our advice, not 100%. No one follows our advice 100%. Well, even me, if I went to a specialist, I wouldn't follow the advice 100% because that's how it is. It's part of human nature. We can't follow the advice 100%. Or if we do, you know, it's not perfect. So it might be 99%, however, it's never 100%. She followed probably about 50-60% of what we advised her, and she got results. Had she followed obviously a lot more, then she would have got more results, better results, faster results. However, she did get results by following our recommendations. So request for this free book, download it, have a read. We've got tips here, tips that you may not have found elsewhere about skin health management. So look forward to hearing from you. If you do need any personal advice, personal recommendations, do get in touch with us and we can have that 15-minute complimentary discovery call as to how we can work together to help you better.